Hi, I'm Janaea Robison with the National Lutheran Choir, and I'm delighted to be joined by Eve Schulte here today, our dance artist and choreographer who we've been working with for this first concert, Lead Me Home. And she's working on, and it has set to dance, Oh Great Beyond, a 3-movement work by Thomas LaVoy with poetry by Tagore. I know that you've set music to dance and music with text to dance before. What's your process?
Well, it starts with just listening over and over and over on replay. So I can sing it without needing to listen to it at a certain point. I really internalize kind of the soundscape, if you will, that then I get to play with. I think the first thing that really drew me was the sense of the romance, the questioning, and then the death element of this 3-part Tagore poem. And I got really curious about, if not a romantic love, what other senses of love can take hold in this. I love when choreography leaves an audience with multiple stories and multiple meanings that they're gaining from it. You had the reading as well. Maybe it's that interplay of the divine and the human.
You set this with 2 dancers.
I was imagining choreography that had quite a bit of partnering involved, and then it turned into something that didn't have as much partnering as I thought in the way of like lifts and higher things, but took on more unison moments than I imagined. That just has a different way of telling the story when you see 2 people really not together. The moments where they really align are extra special.
These 2 dancers, they're absolutely extraordinary. Their work is just beautiful. How did you find them? You've worked with them before?
I've worked with Emily Trapnell before, and I've known of Emily Pitts. I've seen her perform. They're both like in the prime of their dancing lives right now. I encountered both in a hallway. I had just been in a studio on my own, listening to that music, starting to map it out with my notes. And in my mind, I realized I was hoping both of these young women were going to show up to an audition. And I was like, well, if I'm hoping they're both going to be at the audition, why choose only one? Let's work with both. And then there's a lovely similarity between their build and also how they embody movement. And so it really emphasizes some of that distinction and unison together. There are 2 passages in the midst of it where I gave parameters or structure, but the dancers are choosing their own way of moving through those parameters. So it's a little different. You'll have to come to all 3 shows to see the differences there. And there was also one phrase of choreography that I prompted them each to independently come up with movements. One was referencing the word sunshine, and the other was referencing the word cleave. And then we actually took the lower body of one and the upper body of the other and put them together. So you'll see that pass there as well. Aside from those, about 80% or so was choreography from my body. One thing with such professional and seasoned and generous dancers is they then take it and imbue it with their own little nuances or those little micro transitions between step to step to step. So it stops being words and it's really these like sequences, these sentences that flow just beautifully.
How much time does this take to be able to, in total, this is about 15 minutes of music to set to dance?
We've spent about 25 hours all together in rehearsal. I took some additional time ahead of time to like really know the music and map some ideas out. But we've spent about 25 hours all together in rehearsal. So often it's new choreography, even if it's not, even if it's something that you do have a video to reference. It's so physical, and so you need a really special space. And then when you're really working together as well, you want the safety of the floor, so like the jumps and the releve and the things just requires space and time together to really, really sequence.
Is there a style of dance that you would say that this is?
I would call this contemporary ballet.
Okay.
So it's really referencing a lot of the tenets of ballet. But again, like a gift of working with these two in particular is they're really, really literate across many different genres. When you have a dancer that is so facile in so many different genres, that's like the really fun one to work with. I guess one thing that felt different to me in this piece versus some others I've worked with is how drawn out some of the lyrics were. And when I looked at the sheet music, like a whole lot of half and whole notes,
yes.
and like fermatas, and that felt different. I wanted to be really mindful of counteracting that sometimes for good effect. And especially in the second section, there's a lot of like questioning and a bit of agitation, or just we're not aligned. We're trying to figure it out together. That I really went against that pull of the music in many ways. And then there's a moment at the top of the third section where we just slow way the heck down, really take our time. There's different meaning that comes from either going against or going with the music. And so I really enjoyed that about this process. I was talking with the dancers throughout. I use a lot of analogies with my teaching and choreography, and so I was really giving them a lot of different language, even beyond the poem, even beyond the lyrics, a lot of different language and images and things.
I think that it's going to be a very special experience for people to be able to personify this theme of coming home and finding our place of belonging and asking these uniquely human questions about why we're here, what am I meant to do, what happens to me after I die, and to see that personified in actual human form is really a special experience. It is our pleasure to have you and the dancers join us, and we are excited to be able to offer this 3 times. Thursday, October 30th at Gustavus Adolphus College at Christ Chapel, and then on Saturday, November 1st at Normandale Lutheran Church in Edina, and Sunday, November 2nd at St. Andrew's Church in Montemedi. It is going to be an absolute pleasure to be able to show the world what you have done and to be part of it. So thank you.
I can't wait. Thank you for the opportunity.